It's a pleasure to see you here, and I'm so proud to see you. And thank you for the introduction, Mr. Dean, and thank you very much, Karima, for inviting me, and thank you for the organizing committee, the students, the doctoral students, master's students. Thank you, dear colleagues and friends and students for coming today. So you have the title of my presentation. So the story began by saying this. So a few years ago, a good student of mine asked me whether it was true that I was a feminist. There was shock and perplexity in his eyes as he heard me confirming that I was actually one. And 1 year or two later, this other student, whom I've never seen in my classes, brought me a letter, the substance of which, and I'm putting it more nicely than him, how come I had been teaching an ideology in the name of which colonial wars and genocides were perpetrated. So identifying as a feminist has never been without tension, especially during these times, these troubled times where you have colonial wars and a recrudescence of a transnational anti-feminist sentiments, together with shallow female liberation. So what does it mean to be a feminist when one is a Muslim woman living in these times of, or living in, as I said, living in times of Western hegemony? The first part of the identification might be in complete contradiction with the second. So what does it mean to be a feminist when one's heroes are Edward Said and Frantz Fanon that I introduced in my classes? Isn't feminism a product of colonialism, an effect of cultural hegemony itself? I've found answers to these questions in the intellectual journey of Moroccan feminist sociologist Fatima al-Marnisi, the work of whom I studied in my in my doctoral thesis as a case study of post-colonial feminism. I think the significance of Marnisi's work is twofold. It's feminizing decolonization and decolonizing feminism. I'll explain. In 1973, after finishing a doctoral degree in sociology from a prestigious American university, Marnisi decides to come back to Morocco the following year to work as a sociologist, declining several lucrative job opportunities in the West, because she saw herself as invested with a mission, that of what she termed fighting the demon of silence that was haunting the lives of illiterate women. At that time, Moroccan sociology was very much marked by ideas of decolonization, the most important of which was to seize back from the colonizers the writing of Moroccan history. There was particular attention paid to social class and class struggle. Fatima al-Marnisi came to say, gender also matters, and gender's intersection with class produces a different kind of oppression that is worthy of attention, of social analysis. This is what I meant by Mernissi feminizing decolonization. While fighting the demon of silence, she had to leave the strict academic confines of the discipline of sociology to explore culture, folk tales, and most importantly, religious tradition. In the 1970s, her stance on Islam was no different from Western feminism's anti-religious standpoint. But in the 1980s, she developed a completely different position on Islam, more sympathetic, less secular. And the gist of which is that Islam's project of social equality necessarily included gender equality. But this project is, so to speak, unfinished. And it's up to Muslim women to seize the power of interpretation from the monopoly of men and produce more egalitarian, more women-friendly interpretations. This is what I refer to and other scholars refer to as Islamic feminism, sort of hybrid theory, where one part of the phrase was in conversation with the other, so to speak. This is one important aspect of what I meant by decolonizing feminism. The other part of this kind of decolonization came in the 1990s, especially after the first Gulf War, with the invasion of Iraq in 1991. Then Mernissi awakened to a is there a sociological word? I'm here. Then Mernissi awakens to the vociferous voice of another demon. And this demon that was perpetrating death and silence in the name, this time, of democracy and human rights, the new rhetoric that came to replace the old rhetoric of the civilized ambition. After this initial shock, what she described as the trauma of the Gulf War, she decided to speak back, producing this book, in which she explains that not only human rights and democracy are not alien to Islam, but they are actually the values that Islam contributed to modernity. She also produced a novel, an essay and a novel. An essay. What should I read? And a novel, the message of which is female agency, resistance, feminism are indigenous to this land. But how disappointed she was when she realized that not only her message did not get through, but it was misunderstood as a confirmation of the superiority of Western values justifying their brutal importation to the Arab world. But by no means would Fatima al-Mernissi let the demon use her own voice to galvanize his. She, again, came back to the fray, and her response was this other book, Shahrazad Goes West, confronting head-on the demon of Orientalism, which that discourse, which invented the Orient as the opposite of the West, dehumanizing its inhabitants and preparing for their brutalization. Disappointment after disappointment. During her book tour, to promote this book actually, she was told that the Bush administration at the time was already preparing for the second invasion of Iraq, what would be known as the Second Gulf War that began in 2003. The same year, 2003, on the occasion of receiving the Prince of Asturias award, Menisi seized the opportunity of this international stage and the power conferred to her as an actor of the dialogue between cultures, and delivered a powerful yet critical, powerful yet allegorical speech criticizing the American expansionist and militaristic foreign policy. At the end of her intellectual journey, and to overcome the disenchantment, she turned to for inspiration to Islamic spiritual values of adab, civility, civil synergy, civics in the civil society, and love, in search of a non-supremacist, non-brutal, and non-egoistic humanism. A quest which remained with her until her passing on the 30th of November 2015. So to answer the initial question of this talk, Menisi's journey has taught me that to be a Muslim feminist is to be in multiple fronts at the same time. Not only does it mean confronting, critiquing patriarchy in the religious tradition, but it also means confronting the imperialist, capitalistic projects and contributing to this genuinely universal humanism. Lastly, to my dear students who asked me the question whether I was a feminist, I say again, yes I am, but this is my brand of feminism, an intersectional, communal, and decolonial feminism, one that we really need in these times to imagine a better world. Thank you.